Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Burg Sports Game Day Week 5. Tonight we will have Wheelersburg heading to Jackson. He's David Brown. I'm Gavin Race. So, new set this week.
New set. I really like it.
Yeah, we're switching from the white background. Now we got a little bit more pizzazz with it.
Pizzazz. I like the word pizzazz, yes. Finally, a sturdy desk.
Yes. So, Week 5, Wheelersburg heading to Jackson tonight. Wheelersburg 2-2, Jackson also 2-2. Not very common for these two teams to come into a mid-season matchup both at a 500 record. Usually it's one or the other, or both teams coming in undefeated. So
right, and like you said, both teams coming in undefeated, especially teams like Jackson and Wheelersburg, teams that are always known to be pretty good teams. Coming in at 500 is a little odd.
Yeah, whenever you usually talk about powerhouses of the Southeastern District, you talk about Waverly, you talk about Wheelersburg, you talk about Jackson, you talk about Ironton, and for three of those teams, Wheelersburg, Jackson, and Ironton, they all play each other, and this year it seems like Ironton has gotten the leg up on both of them.
Right.
Knocked off Wheelersburg, knocked off Jackson, and Wheelersburg also lost last week in a pickup game to Pikeville, and Jackson had a loss to Western Brown last week. Which,
yeah, I believe you're right.
Yeah, Jackson, both of their losses on the road. They come back home this week. They haven't lost at home this year. Wheelersburg, they lost their only away game, and they're 2-1 at home. So, obviously, Wheelersburg, they're looking to get their first road win,
right.
But it's not going to be an easy test because Jackson's got a heck of a player under center for him.
Oh, let me tell you, this quarterback, dual threat, in the pocket, he can make plays. Great arm. You just can't stop him.
Yeah, Evan Spires, he's really good back there as he's a junior quarterback, and he's great at making plays, being able to scramble out of the pocket whenever he's needing to, but he's got a good offensive line in front of him. He uses that to his advantage, and he can make the throws when he needs to, and it's going to be tough for Wheelersburg. And like I said, strong offensive line, and whenever you have a team like that, the run game's always going to be there. And Wheelersburg, it hurt them week one whenever they ran into a team like Ironton, who's just bigger than them, and it was hard for them to get a foothold. And that's what we saw last week against Pikeville. They had a lot of size up front, and it hurt Wheelersburg whenever they had to switch to that run defense. They were kind of prepared for more of a pass-first offense.
Right, yeah. We've seen the pass-first offense in Chillicothe.
Yeah, but
even with the rain, they were still pass-first.
But I think the thing that's going to make the difference is both teams now have a week to prepare. Not a pickup game. Obviously, whenever you have a game that's picked up midweek, it's really tough for a team to get prepared with only 1 or 2 days of practice. So it's going to be an entertaining match tonight. Wheelersburg, I feel like it's going to be a tough one considering they are 2-2. They're coming off a loss last week that kind of degraded morale, but this could be a bounce-back week for them heading up to Jackson.
Who's the same way. You said 2-2. And they came off a loss last week.
Yeah.
The only difference is Jackson's at home.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be tough going into that environment. Jackson's got a big stadium up there. Wheelersburg, they played some playoff games up there as well last time. I think they played a game there. It might have been whenever they faced off against Johnstown a couple of years ago because due to all the chaos of last season, they ended up not playing Jackson in conference play. So, heading into some other sports, let's talk about those real quick. The soccer teams, the boys went 1-1 this week. They lost to Memphis, but we had a big bounce back win against Fairland last night. The girls, they beat Memphis on Tuesday night. And another big win, 5-2 over Fairland last night.
And I am going to say, my brother picked the girls' Memphis game, the score, before we even started live streaming that game.
That's true. Yeah, that was a good live stream. We had that for that one. We appreciate everyone that turned out to watch that. David, you guys had a cross-country meet this past Saturday?
We did. We went up to Fairland. The girls, I believe, got second, and the boys got fourth as a team.
Yeah, so good performance out there for you guys. The volleyball team, I'm pretty sure they won out this week. They had a game canceled last night, but they beat Memphis earlier this week, I'm pretty sure. So, otherwise, tennis team performed well once again this week. They're continuing to roll. Their tournament draw is coming up pretty soon, so they're getting near the end of their season.
Right.
Next time back in action, The soccer team is we're in action tomorrow at St. Trace. Girls start at 12. Boys will follow. You guys have a cross-country meet tomorrow?
We do. We go to Beaver Eastern.
Beaver Eastern. So that's where the cross-country team will be. And volleyball, we will be doing that game next week whenever they play South Webster. So that's going to be an exciting game. That'll be next Tuesday. So
be sure to tune in.
Tune in for that one. But back to the football team. Let's recap what they did last week against Pikeville. It was a tough one. They ended up, the run game really struggled against Pikeville. They weren't able to really get anything going. Multiple fumbles from players who haven't had a fumble so far this year. Eli Swords, Carson Williams. It's going to be tough for the Wheelersburg to rebound, but I think a lot of thought this week from Coach Woodward has been making sure to keep team morale high as they're coming into a game like this, where they're really going to be tested this week against Jackson.
Right, and I think this week was maybe a week to develop a few new run plays that aren't on the film, as Pikeville really took advantage of the run plays they've seen, and they were able to snuff those out right at the line.
Yeah, so Wheelersburg, they're going to have to switch some things up this week. Obviously, they made some great adjustments week 1 to week 2, and it really helped them win their games against Chillicothe and Russell. So it'll be interesting to see what they do tonight, heading up to face off against the Jackson Ironmen. So that's going to do it for our game preview tonight, our recap of other sports. We'll be right back with our Pick'em show with Mr. Eaton and Mr. Floyd. Welcome back to Burg Sports Game Day. Mr. Eaton, glad to have you back. And we have our guest picker this week, Mr. Floyd.
Good to be here, guys. Good to be here.
Proud Rock Hill Redman right here. Proud. But now he's converted. He's converted.
I've seen the light.
Well, actually, before we get into all of our games, I'll let you pick this one. I'll let you two pick this one real quick. Rock Hill at Fairland. Which one do you guys got?
Oh, that one's easy for me. Fairland.
I have to go with Rock Hill. Got to take the upset.
All right, so we'll just have that one in there as we can throw that in with their records next week.
That's a good idea.
So,
Love it.
Last week, Mr. Eaton, tough one. Went
Went
6-6, and he had the one game where he said, I refuse to ever pick Kentucky, and it backfired on him. And then the McLean game.
Yeah, no, that was bad. That was bad. Actually, Kentucky, University of Kentucky, I looked this up. They played University of Chattanooga. Chattanooga has a 1.4% chance to beat Kentucky, and I would still pick Chattanooga.
Well, I mean, McLean had a pretty good chance last week, and you went against them.
I got a few text messages for that, but that's okay. Look, you win some, you lose some. I lost some, and my record's getting worse. I'm hoping to go the other direction.
And for once, I had a decent record.
Yep.
You did.
So me and David made up some ground. I'm 25-17. You are 26-21. David, you sit at 22-20, and you got a lineage of guest pickers to follow as they've gone 26-12 in the last few weeks.
It's showtime then.
Yep.
All right.
So let's go ahead and go to our first game. We got Logan against Chillicothe. Mr. Eaton, you can take this one first.
Well, Logan's Division I school. Chillicothe, probably Division III. Well, in basketball, 1 and 2. Football, probably 2 and 3 or somewhere around there. But Logan's a big school, but I like Chillicothe in a close one.
David,
I'll go the same way, Chillicothe.
who you got here?
I'm going to take Logan on this one, guys. I'm feeling Logan.
I think Logan wins it. I mean, they got absolutely beat down by Jackson in week 1, but ever since, I'm pretty sure they've won out. So I think this is the game that they take. We saw Chillicothe earlier in the year, and Wheelersburg handled themselves pretty well against them.
So who went to Logan that's super famous?
You're going to have to tell me.
Olympian, played basketball at Ohio State, All-American, Hall of Fame. She went to Ohio State, played in the WNBA for a long time. Katie Smith.
Katie Smith.
Yep,
All
Katie
right.
Smith.
Fun fact of the day.
All right.
Let's move on to our next one. We got Minford heading to East Clinton tonight. David, you get the first one on this.
Well, Minford doesn't have the best record, so I'm going to go with East Clinton tonight.
East Clinton is coming off a loss last week, though, to McLean. So,
I
Mr.
think
Eaton?
Muletown Mini Mart is rocking tonight. I'm going Minford.
Mr. Floyd?
All right, I got Minford too.
Yep, I'm going with Minford. So, everyone's going against David. So, you can either brag about that one or...
Yes. Oh, it'll be a brag. You know it will.
Next, we got Oak Hill heading to Nelsonville, York tonight. Mr. Floyd, you can take the first one on this.
I think I'm going to be going with Nelsonville, York on this one.
Mr. Eaton?
What is the mascot for the Nelsonville York? What is it? I mean, you guys got to do your homework. If you're gonna do the pick 'em, you at least got to do your homework.
What is that again?
It's the Buckeyes.
It is the Buckeyes. It is the Buckeyes. Why are they orange and brown? Nobody knows, but it is the orange and brown Buckeyes. But because it's the Buckeyes, I'm going with Nelsonville York.
I think I'm going to go the same way on the same note.
Yeah, I feel like Nelsonville York's going to handle this one pretty easily. So I'm going to say Nelsonville wins. Nelsonville sweeps this week. And the next one we have Piketon heading to Unioto. Real quick, can we talk about Unioto's game last week?
I don't even know what happened, but I saw some craziness.
Long story short, Huntington sends an all-out rush, blocks the field goal that would have tied the game, and a Unioto player, knowing the rules, goes over, picks up the football, and walks in unimpeded into the end zone, and Unioto wins the game by 3 at the last second,
Oh wow!
and Huntington goes home sad.
That is.
Ooh.
However, on that
Yikes.
note, Piketon's not losing this game. 4-0 on the season. They have rolled through everyone that they've played, and I don't think Unioto's going to be able to stand up to them. Piketon, big.
Big.
Hey, okay.
I think Piketon wins big.
Mr. Floyd, it's yours.
All right. Well, that being said, I think I'm going to have to follow that. It's got to be Piketon if it's big. I mean,
The only game that continues to help me is Piketon. So I feel like, again, I feel like an alumni of Piketon. I'm going with Piketon for the 5th week in a row.
I am going to say that if Piketon wins, you have to honor your saying from last week. You said you'd wear a Red Streaks jersey. I want to see it.
Well, Mrs. Good might need to get me one. Look, I know no one from Piketon other than Mrs. Good. So, if someone has a Piketon jersey out there, I will wear it if they win again, because I feel like my record would absolutely plummet had I not picked Piketon every week. So,
And I guess on that, I'll go with Piketon.
So Piketon sweeps for, I think, a 4th week in a row. I'm not sure.
They're on a roll.
They've been a popular team here. Next, we got, for the 2nd time this season, I don't know if this has ever happened, Valley will be heading to Northwest tonight. Earlier in the season, Northwest went to Valley, and it was a thriller. Valley came back, huge 4th quarter comeback. David, I'm going to
7, right?
Yep, David, I'm going to throw it to you. Does Valley repeat this time, or does Northwest get them?
Now, last time we did this, we said it was a pick'em game.
Mm-hmm.
Valley did come back, had that 4th quarter. I think Valley takes that 4th quarter play calling and throws it in all game, and they come out with a win tonight.
Here's where I say this. I think Valley doesn't only win this game, I think they win by a lot larger than they did the first time. I truly believe that they got off to a rough start. The last week they played very well. So I'm going to go with the Valley Indians. Plus my niece dates one of their players, so I feel like...
I'm going with Valley too. Yep, I think they're going to take that and just keep on going.
Yeah, I think Valley, the last time they played Northwest, it was a game they picked up 2, maybe even 1 day before. This is a game they have time to prepare for. I think they go in and smoke Northwest on their own field. Next up, we got Zane Trace heading to Huntington, and like I said, Huntington, a heartbreaking loss last week. They haven't won a game in over 2 years. So does their streak of losing continue, Mr. Floyd?
Yes, it does. Zane Trace all the way on this one.
Yeah, Piketon almost lost to Zane Trace. It was very close. So Zane Trace, the Pioneers with the W, red, white, and blue.
Red, white, and blue. I like it.
They are red, white, and blue. So
I like it. I like their colors. And on that, I'm going to go with
and on
them.
Constitution Day.
And on Constitution Day. Might as well go with it. I'm going to go with Zane Trace only because my brother scored a 60-yard touchdown on the Huntington junior high team last night.
That was West Virginia. This
Yeah.
is Ohio.
I know.
Ohio.
I know.
But they're both green.
They're both green, and they're both Huntington, so I have to continue. I have to make my brother proud.
All right, I'm with you. He played a great game, by the way.
Thank you.
Now, here's where I stand. My mind says Huntington, or my mind says Zane Trace. It's the obvious pick. But I play Zane Trace tomorrow. So I'm going with, in the upset of the season, Huntington gets their first win in 2 years after the heartbreak of last week.
Well, I'll go ahead and tell you this. If Huntington wins, you can pour a bucket of water on me. Game.
All right. All right.
It's going to happen.
Now I have to pick him. So next
Really,
up,
I'm just trying to catch up.
this is the game that he hopes he can catch up with. Next, we got West. We'll be heading to Kip Academy tonight. So I'll go ahead and take this one. West coming off a big win last week. I think they roll and they beat Kip Academy this week. West, close though. Mr. Eaton, I'm going to give it to you.
Well, they handled Kip Academy before. They played before. West won 2 games in a row. Coach Gilliland's got his kids moving in the right direction. I'm going to go with West for their 3rd win in a row.
They're rolling. Keep rolling. West Centers.
I'm going to go with Kip on this one.
All right.
For
well,
no reason whatsoever. They're just Kip Academy. It sounds cool.
It
Sounds
does.
cool.
Yeah, name a child named Kip. That's kind of cool. Come here, Kip.
All right, the next one. This is going to be an interesting one. Waverly heading to Portsmouth in a pickup game. David, you can take this one first. I think Mr. Eaton wants to pick last on this one.
I do want to pick last on this one.
Waverly and Portsmouth.
Both teams undefeated.
There's a lot to think about with Waverly and Portsmouth. I don't know who you go with on this one because Portsmouth, like you said, undefeated, Waverly undefeated. I've got to go SOC on this one. I got to go with Waverly.
Waverly wins. Mr. Floyd?
I think I'm going to have to take the Trojans on this one. I'm picking Portsmouth. Yep.
I'm going to
He's
go.
sticking with his conference. And he's sticking with his conference.
I'm going to go with Waverly. I think they're just the better team compared to Portsmouth. 2 good teams for sure, but I'm going to go with the bigger school in Waverly. I think they beat Portsmouth. So, Mr. Eaton, what's your all-secretive pick?
I have struggled with Portsmouth because Portsmouth's schedule has not been great. So I've picked against them a couple of times because of their strength of schedule. Waverly's schedule, on the other hand, has not been a cupcake. Like, they've played really good people. So I think I'm not saying that Portsmouth's not a good team. They are a good team. However, Waverly is much more battle-tested. And actually, I don't only think they win. I think they score a bunch of points. And I know that Portsmouth's defense has done very well. I think they score minimum 35, and I think it's going to be something like 35-14.
Wow.
Like, I really do.
Bold
Wow.
prediction.
Bold prediction, and I'm sorry. I have not given much love to Portsmouth. I'll try to do my best, but to kind of change the subject, so nobody rocks my house. The set looks amazing, by the way. Like, it's totally different. I love the layout. The graphics are amazing. So, thanks to everybody other than Jared Shaw for making it.
I think you might start giving Portsmouth some more love once we get into OBC play with them.
I think so, but not right now. I just don't think that. I think Waverly is the cream of the crop around here with Ironton and Jackson and Wheelersburg, and I think they're going to show that.
All right, let's head to some college games. Cincinnati, ranked 8th in the country, highest ranked team in Ohio, unfortunately. But
So sad.
they'll be heading to Big Ten opponent, Indiana. So, obviously, Cincinnati recently got approved to join the Big 12. David, you get the first one on this one.
I'm not a very big college football fan. However,
Have you ran on their cross-country course?
no, I have not. I want to one day. But I just can't not go with Indiana on this one. I think Indiana's the bigger school. They've got a lot more experience. They've got a little more test under their belts than Cincinnati, and I think I see Indiana come with not as close as people think it will be, but kind of close.
Not so fast, my friend. I think Cincinnati handles them pretty well. Indiana, they had a rough week 1 against Iowa, but I see no reason that Cincinnati shouldn't win this game, continue to roll, and prove why they deserve to be in that Power 5 conversation, playoff conversation. So, who you got?
I actually like Indiana on this one. I'm going Big Ten. I like Indiana.
So where's the game at?
It's at Indiana.
Ooh. See, I think that changes things. It's only when you gave me this, it's a 3.5 point spread. So Cincinnati's favorite. There's only 55% of the people are picking Cincinnati. 45% are picking Indiana. So it is a pick'em game. But I like Cincinnati, and I like them in a close one. Maybe a field goal at the end. But I'm going with the Bearcats. I mean, I'm not going against Ohio. That's out.
All right, we got the whiteout game. Penn State will be hosting Auburn this week. Mr. Eaton, you get to pick this one first.
Another tough game. Again, at Penn State. Penn State is a really tough place to play. I've actually witnessed a game at Penn State when my brother Jonathan played at Akron. They played Penn State. I mean, it is loud. I mean, it's in a valley, super, super loud. But I thought Penn State was sloppy the first week. And Auburn's got a quarterback that's been there for a long time. However, they have a new head coach. I think this, again, is closer than people think. But I'm going to go with Auburn. And, again, like a field goal type game. I'm going to go with Auburn. And I know Penn State's favorite by like 6 points. So I'm going to go with Auburn.
I'm going to have to go the same way. Just on the same thing. Penn State, they're just not putting it together right now.
Who you got?
I'm feeling the Big Ten again. I'm going Penn State.
Yeah, I'm going to run with you. I think the only time it's ever okay to pick against Penn State in a whiteout is when they're playing Ohio State.
Okay, I'm switching. Penn State.
I won't switch. I feel confident.
I'm going back and forth. My record is important. Penn State. I'm going with Penn State. Final answer, Penn State.
Last college game of the week here, we got Alabama heading to Florida. Now, anytime Alabama pops up on the screen, it feels like an obvious pick, but Mr. Floyd, is that the truth?
Yeah, it is. It is, definitely. Yep, all the way.
Yeah, it is an elephant heavy.
Yes.
Every time, Alabama.
I despise Alabama.
I do too.
And
we all do. I mean,
almost as much as you despise Kentucky.
But they're a 2-touchdown favorite. Like that's like you're gonna win. You just got to go with it. Like,
I really just don't want to say it at this point.
Just say it.
Just say it like really quick. Say it really quick.
Bama.
Okay.
Colson Arnold. I am picking Florida. Florida will win this week. I'm saying if there's a team.
You're going out on a limb.
No, if there is a team in the SEC that could upset Alabama, and it's not Georgia. I think Georgia has a chance too. I think it's Florida. I think Florida has a chance.
Okay, so if Huntington Ross wins and Florida wins, I mean, I could see myself getting a tattoo. All right, go ahead.
All right, well, I'm going with Florida. I have a feeling that this is a week. I mean, we've seen, Ohio State lost already this year. Clemson lost this year. Why can't Alabama lose?
Nick Saban.
It's
pretty simple. And they're just better. But we'll see. Hey, turnovers can happen. If there's rain, wind, you never know.
You never know. All right, I'll take a step back. I'm not picking this game. I'm going to throw it over to David for this first one. Wheelersburg heading to Jackson.
I can't pick against Burg, so let's go Burg.
All right, Mr.
Floyd, the stage is yours. It's your first year teaching in Wheelersburg. Are you going to continue with the loyalty of being hired here, or are you going to go with the red and white and maybe not have a continuing contract?
I mean, is that even in question? I think Pirates all the way.
I think what he meant was no pressure.
Yeah.
Definitely got that from it. No, definitely Burg all the way.
All right, Lee Course. Mr. Eaton.
Yes. Well,
what's
this
your
new
pick
set
this
has brought different creative moments. So, ladies and gentlemen, This helmet is tight, but we are the Pirates Bold from Wheelersburg. We are the orange and the black, and you know the rest. Burg!
Wheelersburg sweeps in a game against Jackson. They'll be heading there tonight. Game will start at 7 o'clock. Look out on our Facebook page, on YouTube. If you want to search on there, there's already a link posted. We will try anyway for you to be able to watch that game. Or you can head up to Jackson, whether you're going through Oak Hill or down 32. Wheelersburg heading to Jackson tonight. That's going to do it here. Burg Sports Game Day.
I'm David Brown.
I'm Mr. Eaton.
I'm Mr. Fluid.
And I'm Gavin Race. Make sure you get out and support your Pirates tonight.
Go Burg!